Welcome to the CIONET podcast. My name is Hendrik Dekkers. I'm here today with Jesús Oliva Gonzalo, who is the head of data and AI at Moeve. A very warm welcome, Jesús.
Thank you, Hendrik. Thanks for the opportunity to reflect on Moeve's journey.
Jesús, for the past 3 years, you've been leading a profound transformation at Moeve, and you took the organization from a state that you described as data-rich but insight-poor to really a leadership position in industrial AI implementation. So your work has really delivered tens of millions in value, and you've earned several prestigious industry awards. So Jesús, you've had quite a journey from addressing foundational data challenges to achieving this recognition. If you had to pick one defining thread that runs through this transformation, the core principle that has really shaped your approach, what would that be?
Well, you already mentioned that principle. I would say it's been value. It's been value before volume, value before fancy tech. The goal from the very beginning was to understand business needs and find how data and AI can help, how data and AI can leverage value. This wasn't about ingesting lots of data. It wasn't about building the most sophisticated and fancy algorithm or platform. It was about proving that every euro invested in data and AI could generate business results.
Okay, super. And when you look back at this big program, was there a moment early in the journey that hinted that one day you will be achieving this transformation at this scale?
I think so. We started by delivering a small pilot to start leveraging awareness in people. And we found it was not the biggest one, but still proving 300% ROI. But to me, the inflection point was not this return of investment. It was the reaction of one of the users. He told me for the last 20 years, now I can see what's happening and what will happen, not only what happened. At that point, I realized we were tapping into a real and profound transformation on the ways we've been working so far.
Okay, super. Now, let's start with some context for all the viewers here. So, the business of Moeve, how would you describe that in a nutshell?
Well, Moeve is an international company with nearly 11,000 employees committed to sustainable energy and mobility. Our ambition is to be a driving force in Europe's energy transition, accelerating decarbonization for both our clients and ourselves. After more than 90 years, almost 100 years as a leader in the oil and gas sector, we are now transforming, and a plausible proof of this transformation is our change of brand. Last year, we moved from Cepsa to Moeve, reflecting this profound transformation and our ambition to become leaders in energy production powered by green molecules such as green hydrogen or second-generation biofuels.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very important transformation as an organization, I can imagine, given the climate change and so on that's going on. So, would you consider Moeve as a leader in that aspect as well?
That's our ambition. That's our ambition. We are still moving in this transformation. We are already building our new plants to produce hydrogen, biofuels, etc. So, yes, that's what we want to become.
Okay. Now, for the past 3 years, you have been building together with your teams, of course, data and AI capability from the ground up, and you delivered quite remarkable results. If you had to pick one achievement that you're most proud of in this journey, what would that be? And can you take us back to the moment that it all started?
To me, the biggest achievement is the fundamental transformation of how people work, how they interact with data and make decisions. In that sense, data democratization, machine learning models are shifting how our operators are working, and that's something to be proud of, I think. And about the moment this journey started, I already told you about the beginnings of the story, but I think it started even earlier. In my second month at Moeve, the first time I went into a control room in our energy parks and watch operators working, I realized they had decades of expertise, but they were flying somehow blindly. With no AI, ML help, even though we were collecting lots of real-time operational data, they didn't know what was going to happen. To me, that disconnection between the data we had and the AI-driven insights we were missing was what started the journey.
Okay, so that's the situation where you start. And what were the really the core objectives in starting this program? What was it that you and the company wanted to achieve?
Uh, there were two. I would say there were two main objectives. One is value. Again, we had to add value. We had to show data and AI can generate business impact, can move the needle in the business account. And the second was about people, was capability building in our teams, and that's also super important. This is not only, it's not about tech. Actually, it's about how people use this technology and how they can really leverage the technology to get that value, right? And we just translated these objectives into three pillars. First, build robust data foundations. We need to break data silos, create a governed and accessible data environment. Second, democratize data access. We really think if we wanted to change the culture and we wanted to change the ways and people work and work on that capability building, I told you it was an objective. We needed to democratize data access and make data not an IT asset, but a business asset. And third, and most critically, demonstrate tangible business value from AI. Again, we've all read about this paper saying 95% of AI projects fail. We need to demonstrate it was not our case. So I would say that were the three pillars.
Okay, let's address these pillars one by one, and then we can focus on the 5% of the companies where and projects where it really works. So, creating the data fundamentals and the strong governance around that. Can you talk about the approach and how you did that?
Yes, well, again, this journey was already started when I arrived, and I had to thank the data team that did this incredible job. So we built a single data platform, ingesting data from different sources, integrating the data, and properly governing it. We put a lot of effort in data governance. It's to us is something not negotiable. At the beginning, to be honest, is something not easy to sell to the business. It's not paying back directly data governance, but at the end, keeping track of data quality, having alerts on when data is available or not, and all the data governance framework we set up, it's really paying back.
Okay, super. And then the second step was basically making this data available, and you had self-service dashboards, data products. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, that part it was mostly about change management. And again, I want to thank the change management team who did a great job here. Lots of courses, lots of hours spent with the people that needed to get access to the data. These things take time. It's not you give 2 hours lessons and people knows how to launch SQL queries or build dashboards. It's a matter of time. So spending lots of time with them, lots of change management, lots of capacity building, and working with them made us now lots of dashboards, self-service dashboards with people working with data, using data to help making decisions in their daily tasks without IT being a bottleneck. That could be a problem.
Yeah. So first, organizing the data, making sure it's well governed. And then the second is making it available to the users, and so that you have your data products. And then the most fun part, of course, is to start putting AI on top of that. And you did that in a scaled way in 4 different waves. Can you talk us through the different waves that you have been
Yes,
using?
yes. Again, we started with a small pilot. But I would say wisely picked. It was a quick win, something easy, but with a big return, 300% return of investment. So we were confident we were delivering this with quality and getting the impact. And then once you have a first small pilot that people can touch, can work with, then it's easier to start to scale.
And what was this first pilot about? What was the application of the first pilot?
It was about process optimization. So basically, in our refining process, we were forecasting some properties of the intermediate products with machine learning, depending on the features of the crudes that enter the different units and the ways you operate the units. You can forecast the output. Then having all this tracked, you can at the end recommend how to operate the different units to the operators. That's
Okay,
basically.
so that was the first proof of concept, and then came wave 2, 3, and 4, right?
Yes, once we had this first product that was available, and by the way, one key here was having a way of measuring value and tracking this impact every month. We can track how was this working was key also to show people, hey, this is working. Hey, you are making better decision. Hey, this month we won 1 million. This month we won 500,000 euros thanks to the ways you are using this. This really engage people, not only executives that of course are happy with the millions, but also people operating the plants. They can see the results of this transformation.
Okay. And what kind of programs or projects did you do in wave 2 and 3?
Well, we keep doing some similar projects, more ambitious about process optimization. There are different process similar to the one I told you about. Longer, bigger, more complex. We are also now working on prescriptive maintenance, which is also something that can add lots of value to the business. Um, that's the kind of projects we are doing in our industrial plants.
Okay, super. You talked also you and in the briefing for this conversation, you talked about the agent of agents, the Gen AI agent of agents that helped your field staff, basically. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, yes. I mentioned at the beginning it was value before fancy tech, so we don't want to be um, confused by the hype with generative AI, but we do think it has a lot of potential. So we are already working with it, and the idea here is okay. Now we change the way our operators in front of a screen are working, are operating the plants. What about the field workers, the people that has to go to the field, and that's where we are developing this agent of agents. Basically, what we have are different assistants, experts on different topics, from safety, for example, where we ingested all our safety manuals, our operation manuals, and we have connected to real-time weather information and weather forecasts. So whenever you are doing a task, you can ask, I'm doing this, what should I take into account? Which incidents happened in similar tasks in the past, so I can learn from past experiences. What's the weather like? If it's a strong wind, maybe I should postpone the task. And we have other experts, other agents experts on maintenance, having access to our data tables with the latest work orders, for example, on a given asset. So when you are in front of an asset, you can ask about the work orders, the maintenance it had, and that's the idea. So having different experts, assistants to our field workers that they can access from a single point easily in natural language, improving a lot and making their lives easier.
Yeah, I understand. And one of your approaches is to work in a modular way and to have modular platform and reusable data products and so on. Can you talk a little bit about the strategy there?
Yeah, that's a very good point actually. It's an investment you have to do. I think if you want to scale, you shouldn't think on each use case as an isolated use case. You should work on delivering modular pieces that you can reuse in the next projects, right? But also importantly, I think you shouldn't start by building a platform itself. You shouldn't look to have the perfect platform before starting adding value. I think it's something you can do while you deliver use cases, while you deliver value. So what we did is step by step in each use case, we added a module to the platform. We refined one of the modules, existing modules. So we were building the platform where we were delivering use cases and delivering value. right?
Okay. I also understand that important is for you to have responsible AI by design, and you have an observability platform, and you're working on an ISO norm. Talk us a little bit through that.
Yes, that's also important. We want to leverage the full potential of AI, but we want to do it responsibly, and that's a must. That's a absolutely a must for us. So yes, we have a governance and an AI governance and observability platform where all our initiatives are tracked, are monitored, and also the data quality. So the AI governance platform is linked to the data governance platform, so we can track the data quality of the data that is fed into the machine learning models. So whenever we observe a decay in accuracy in one model, we can check, hey, maybe it's the data. It's easy to observe what's going on around our AI. And regarding ISO 42001, I think this isn't just about compliance. It's more about trust. It's about building trustworthy AI systems that stakeholders, regulators, customers can rely upon. And I think our governance framework means we can deploy AI responsibly at a scale and demonstrate that we take AI seriously and not just as a buzzword. It's not a couple of isolated cases here and there. We really want to scale this across the company, and we will have to do it responsibly.
Can you give us a little bit more detail about the outcomes? I mean, we talked about tens of millions of value that have been created. How specifically do you measure the value? How do you do that? And is it bottom line, top line? I mean, tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, we again, as I mentioned from the beginning, we focus on value on each of our pilots. So the first thing we do is estimating the value to prioritize. That's pretty obvious, but we try to do it as objective as possible. So and here in the industry, I think it's easier than in other sectors, right? Because here you have, as I told you, for example, with the first pilot with Oliva, you can track how the features of your final product improved over the average of the last productions before adding AI, and this improvement easily translates into value. The same for predictive maintenance. You can check how many failures you have, how much time you have to stop your plants for predictive maintenance, and then you can check how that improved, and that's easily translated to value. That's something where we focus. We didn't want to give subjective estimates, but objective measurement, and both before starting the project, so we can prioritize, but also after it, and we keep track. So part of the project was building what we call the control tower, monitoring how the models are performing, but also monitoring how the value is moving every month. And that's something we share with executives, but also with the people that is working with the tool, and it's really engaged.
Okay, let's unpack a couple of the outcomes. I mean, you talked about the first pilot having an ROI immediately, and that was a great way to kick it off. Is there a way that you measure the modular approach and the reuse and so on? How do you measure that?
That's also important. We've been measuring our time to value, our deployment time of the next initiative in those waves you mentioned, and we've seen reduction of 60% time. So the first investment, and it's something you have to keep investing on each wave. As I told you, while we are building use cases, we keep improving our platform, and that improvement of the platform takes time, but is a great investment. Then you see this 60% reduction. You realize that's the right approach.
What kind of results did you have with the field staff that you provided with their agent for agents? Can you how did you measure that?
Well, that's with generative AI, it's more difficult to measure. But I usually mention, hey, and each time one of our operators is looking for information in documents, we are losing twice the time. It's time the operator is not working, and it's time that the given machine he has to repair, for example, is stopped. So here we've done some measurements, but here, to be honest, are more estimates. So we had a framework to check how difficult is a given question, depending on if you find a direct answer in one paragraph or you have to look on 4 paragraphs in 5 different documents. That's a more complex question. So we estimated the time it would take to look on those 5 documents and paragraphs. And with that, we made an estimate, and we think we get the search time by 40%.
Okay,
and
so
that means, again, our workers are saving a lot.
we talked about the external validation and the awards that you and the company have received for this project. Which is the one that you're most proud of?
Well, I think last year, and by the way, the prize was not to me; it was more for the company and the collaboration job we've done together. Last December, one of our sites got the Best European Refinery of the Year award, basically due to the digitalization and use of AI in the site. So it reflects how the transformation is real and how people appreciate it.
Okay, so now this is, of course, a huge journey, and collaboration is of utmost importance, we can say. And so you had to collaborate with historically siloed business units and with different IT functions, with different operating teams, operational teams. So how do you make sure that all the main stakeholders are on board in a program like this?
Well, it's difficult. I think making all these people work together is challenging. But I think we managed to do it in 2 ways. First, building trust, being transparent with the value we were getting helps a lot. Not just saying, "Hey, look at this model. This it has 99% accuracy. Now it's your turn. Use it." That doesn't work. So again, showing from the very beginning how this works, spending lots of time on change management, on working, sitting with people, explaining AI, explaining machine learning, and then helping them use it properly and showing the results really makes people understand these technologies, makes people trust them, which is the key. I think this transparency, even when things don't work as expected, we didn't get the expected value every single month, but being transparent and trying to analyze why things didn't work well, why that given month we were not capturing the expected impact, and establishing a plan to fix it together. This really helped, I think.
Could you share an example in this program of maybe a particularly tough moment, and how you managed to use the transparency that you just talked about to keep support of the program and to keep the momentum alive?
Yes. Actually, with this first pilot, I explained we quickly saw this 300% return easily, but after some months, the impact started again. The models started to underperform due to different reasons. We were ingesting different crudes we were operating the units differently. Anyway, the models started to underperform. The temptation in that moment is to massage the numbers, the data. If you massage the data properly, data can say almost anything. Or attribute the problems to a bad operation. You are changing the ways you are working. I told you should do this, and you are doing that. But we did the opposite. We presented the results just as they were, saying, "Hey, we were capturing this value, and these 2 months we are not." We analyze the problems together with the business, because there is no single reason to this. We found the reason and outlined our mitigation plan, and that transparency, I think, increased trust. Instead of saying, "Hey, this is garbage. Let's stop using AI. We get the opposite. It increased trust, both again with executives and people working with AI, and it works. I think transparency isn't just ethical; it's strategically smart. It builds trust, and now the project is alive. By the way, delivering that 300% ROI, and business understand much better how this technology works and when you can expect it to fail.
Now, beyond the immediate results that are impressive, what do you consider as the long-term capabilities that this transformation has created, and how does that impact your organization and the company as a whole?
Well, on the technical side, our data and AI architecture, our platform is now a strategic asset and is something we are replicating on different business units. But most importantly, this transformation has changed the way people work and collaborate. Again, we've done a big effort in change management, capability building, and making business and IT talk more and more similar language, and that's powerful. And also the data culture of our engineers, our operators, has shifted the way they work, and that's a long-term competitive advantage.
Now, typically, if you introduce new fundamental new ways of working, and AI certainly is a new way of working for many, many people, we will encounter resistance to change, right? And people don't want necessarily to be challenged, working in a completely different way, and so on. In general, how do you and your organization overcome that and make sure that people do this with pleasure and work together with AI programs?
Well, indeed, that's a problem. As I mentioned, we've been doing our job for more almost 100 years, and we are doing well. After 100 years, we are still alive. So our people is doing their job well. So when you get there and say, hey, you have to do things differently, people don't understand why. I've been doing this for more than 90 years, and I'm doing well. Why should I change? It's logical. So you have to spend time. We have a change management team because this is not only technical; it really touches psychology and how people perceives on these changes. So we spend lots of hours with our change management team, getting there to the site, sitting together with the people, explaining things, trying to understand how they work and why they do that way, and explaining why this should be an improvement. And then, so one thing is spending hours with them, explaining and teaching, and not just saying, "Hey, look at this fantastic model, now use it." And the other thing is show the value, show that this really works. Having this first pilot saying, look, we introduce these tools, you are using this, you are making this operating differently here and there, and then the result is that our quality giveaway is reduced by 10%. Look at this is happening. It really builds trust and makes people understand why they should use it, but it takes time.
What is your view on AI in your industry? Do you think that is a complete game changer, like many people say? And do you believe that, let's call it AI augmented organizations, will have a unique position and are able to outcompete the rest of the industry if they do it in the right way as soon as possible?
Yes, I do think it's a game changer, and actually, it's not a belief anymore. It's a reality, and the journey I'm describing it's shows that it's real, and there's a long way still to go. But I think again, this is not a promise anymore. This is a reality, and actually, it's not a choice. Either you use AI or you will be out of the market. The competitive advantages that AI gives you is something you cannot avoid.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Let's talk a little bit more about the human side of all this and about your leadership. I mean, becoming an effective leader often means that we need to step outside of our comfort zone. So, could you share an example in this journey where you had to do this and where for instance, at the time that you had to spend in the refineries and the control rooms, and how that paid off?
Well, yes, I had to step outside my comfort zone by forcing myself to get real business knowledge. I didn't know how a refinery worked. Absolutely, I'm a tech guy, a freak, a techie. I love data, machine learning algorithms, technical problem solving. But I had no idea about industrial sites, refineries, or how they work. So when I joined Moeve, I could have stayed in the technical part and leave the business knowledge to others. But I committed to learning the fundamentals. I'm not an expert, of course, but I think learning the fundamentals of how our sites operate, it's been key. It took some effort, but I think it really paid off. I think as a technical leader, acquiring business knowledge felt like stepping away from my expertise, from my comfort zone. But I think you can't deliver business value if you don't understand what value means for the business. Of course, you don't have to become an expert in the business. That's not your role. But understanding the fundamentals of the business is key.
Okay, now quite a successful story and achievement, but we all make our mistakes. So, would you care to maybe share your most brilliant mistake, the misstep in this program that really taught you something and that improved the in the end the final result?
I think one of the best mistakes is when we try to build our first solutions with the engineers, with the business knowledge for our sites, but not considering the panelists, the final users of the solutions, right? So this mistake, when we realized they were complaining a bit about how the final screens were doing, how the information they had available, it changed the way we delivered our models. Users shouldn't be the recipients of a transformation. They should be part of the transformation from the very beginning. Change management, which I told we spent hours on it, isn't something you bolt on at the end of with training sessions and communication plans. To me, change management is the foundation you build from the very first conversation, the very beginning, so people really understand how this has been built and how it will be used. So I think when people build solution from the beginning, adoption is much easier.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about your leadership style, Jesus. If I would go to the people in your team and have a cup of coffee together with them and you're not around, how do you think they would describe you?
That's a question for them, not for me. But I hope they'd say they will say I'm focused on value. Probably you realized during our conversation, but transparent about when we miss. I push hard on the outcomes, but I don't hide when reality falls short of projections, when things don't work as expected. Yeah, I think they would say something like that.
Now, you told us that you're driven by value and that you're really a nerd in data and AI and an expert, and that's what fascinates you. Now, outside of that, what is it that really drives you, that gives you energy in your work and your life?
I think something that really motivates me is watching people discover capabilities they didn't know they had, and that applies for my coworkers. And it is super interesting seeing how data culture is now present in our operators, but also for my kids. That moment when someone realizes that they are more capable than they believed, it's something that really gives me energy. At the end, technology is powerful, but people are what make transformation real. So when you invest in developing people's capabilities, you are not just delivering a project. You are not just adding 2 millions to your business account. You are changing how they see themselves and what they believe they can accomplish, and that's much more powerful than technology.
Now, if you would not have developed a career in data and AI, what is it that you would have done with a lot of passion? What other type of career is it that you would have dreamt of?
I think, and it's linked to my previous answer. I think I'd probably be teaching. I actually a good part of my job is translation. understanding business needs, align them with the strategy and with the technical team, establish shared success metrics. And again, seeing people discovering capabilities they didn't know they have, it's something that really gives me energy. So yeah, probably a teacher.
Okay. Now, if you look at the situation that you and the company are in right now, what do you see as the next big challenge in data and AI, or the next big opportunity that you're really excited about to explore?
Well, the challenge with our energy parks is not ended at all. It would probably finish ever. We need to keep pushing, keep transforming our industrial sites, and especially in this moment in which we are, as I told you, we are building new plants for HVO, hydrogen. We need to apply all the learnings we got from refining to these new technologies, and the goal is to have these plants born as digital native plants with all these learnings applied from the very beginning. If I had to take another one, it would be to look for a similar transformation in the way we deal with our customers. This is still a big gap there, and a lot of potential in using AI, machine learning, personalization in the ways we deal with customers.
Okay, super. Now, to round up this interview, and thank you for all the time, Jesus. Let's think about if other people are at the start of a similar transformational program. What are the advice, the different lessons that you have learned that you could offer your peers?
I would say it might sound weird, but I would say don't launch a data transformation strategy. Don't launch an AI strategy. Launch a solution to a specific painful business problem that helps people and drives impact. Then use that use case, showcase it, use that credibility to start the next initiative and then the next. And at some point, you will have the foundations to build that AI strategy, right? And I think many transformations fail because they try to build the perfect foundations before proving value. The perfect platform, spending 2 millions in a huge AI platform that nobody's using, and then people start questioning why we did that. I think you can build those foundations while you prove value. And again, don't misunderstand me. I told you not to deliver use cases isolated. You should think on a scale and building that platform, but you can build it while you build the use cases. Don't look for the perfect platform at the beginning. You can start with something small, keep improving, and this way you are showing value to the business and you engage the business, and at some point you will have your platform, your strategy, and then you can scale.
Now, what I learned from you is that value is one of your core themes, but also collaboration and modularity. And one of the things I remembered from our briefing is that you said collaboration is something that must be architectured. So, what do you really mean with that?
What I mean is collaboration cannot be mandated. Collaboration, you don't get collaboration just saying to teams, hey, work together. That doesn't work. You really need to have a plan on how to collaborate, starting with shared success metrics, for example, being sure that IT teams, business team have the same goals and they are measuring in the same way, right? This way, by the way, at the end, you don't have people blaming each other. Hey, this is an IT problem. This is a business problem. No. We have these shared success metrics, and if we get the expected impact is everybody's merit, and if we fail to get it, it's everybody's fault. It also takes time. It's also about change management in both ways. People need to speak the other side's language, which is difficult. So yes, you need to have a plan on collaboration, not just mandated.
So, Jose, you also said that modularity is a leadership choice. And so, what is that you really mean with that?
Well, I mean, you can always take the fastest path, or what looks the fastest path, and saying, hey, let's deliver this no matter how. Just please make it work, and forget about about code quality, code modularity, best practices, or whatever. You just need this to get on, and probably you could get the value you expected. You can make it work. But then the next case is the same. At the end, you have lots of isolated use cases, which take a lot of time to both to build, but most importantly to maintain. These models have to be retrained, have to be looked after, and that will be a pain. So I think indeed modularity is a strategical decision, and it takes some time at the beginning. You have to make some investment, and probably the first, the second, the third use cases are slower than expected, than they could be. But this investment really pays back at the end. And again, we are measuring 60% time to value reduction in our latest project. So yes, it's a strategical, and it's something you shouldn't negotiate, and you should explain to the business, because for the business, hey, if I could have this working in 3 months, why should I wait 4? It's not easy to explain at the beginning, but it should be the strategy.
Super. So on value, on collaboration, on modularity, I think we can end that as a conclusion of our conversation here today. Jesus, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to meeting you face to face very, very soon.
Thank you, Henrik. It's been a pleasure. I do appreciate the opportunity to reflect on this journey, and I would like to finish extending my gratitude to my team and all the teams across Moeve who have been involved in driving this transformation forward. Collaboration has truly been the key. So thanks to all the teams involved.
Thank you.